Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Strawberry Hill Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Simmons, and I'm so grateful for have you guys back here. Before we get started, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. Make sure you share everything you can. And now my boy Esai got everything on TikTok, all the clips, so make sure you check those out. And so today we got a special guest, Strawberry Hill business owner, soon to be, correct?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, Mike Howard.
Hopefully.
What's up, man?
Hey, living life, man. I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much,
man. So, if a lot of people don't know, you are opening the business right down here where Manor Records used to be, the Davenport, correct?
Yes, me and business partner Justin Appleberry.
And so, what made you want to open up a bar down here in Strawberry Hill?
Well, I've always loved the Hill. I used to live at Horace Mann Lofts.
Right by
8th and State.
McDonald's?
So, yeah.
When did you live there?
Probably 2014 to 2016.
What? I mean, why?
So,
I mean, I guess it's better. It's better.
Well, you kind of know some of my backstory, but so I used to do finance for the city. So I used to handle the 457 plan for the unified government.
IRAs, ICM stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and while I was there, I mean, this was 80% of where I had to be. And so one of the requirements was to live in the unified government or...
live in Wyandotte County?
Right.
So did you work for Wyandotte County then? Or did you work for...
No, I worked for ICM Arc.
But you were just down here all the time.
And if you could tell me what that stands for, I'll give you $20.
Integrative...
No, you're already wrong.
Monetary assessments.
Anyway,
that sounds pretty cool, though.
They changed their name. They're now Mission Retirement. But so that was one of the requirements. That place was super cool. I had a really small loft that had like a spiral staircase. And,
that's cool.
And just one room downstairs, you know. And I have 3 kids that I split at the time because I was divorced, and so we were on top of each other for sure. But anyway, I lived there. I know a bunch of business owners on the Hill, like Artie, who owns the 403.
403,
so I used to go to the 403 when it was originally where Hillsiders is.
Hillsiders, yeah.
And so I had some good friends that bartended, and I was always down here. I just fell in love with the area is why I love Strawberry Hill. But I moved out. I live up north by the airport now, but opportunity came. My dad and I owned a bar down at the Lake of the Ozarks for over 10 years.
What bar was that?
Skippers.
So
it's now the wet spot or wet stop.
You got to tell me like what mile marker?
59 and a half.
59 and a half.
So way up. Not on the real party side, but we were on the more calm.
So was that like a family business like for a while, or did your dad just get into it?
So my dad actually retired. He was in sales too. And when he retired, he moved to the lake with his wife. And I think he just kind of got bored. And the bar.
So once you get bored, why not just open up your own bar?
Right. So the bar came available, and he talked to me and wanted to know if I wanted a stake in it. And he lived down there, so I was super comfortable because he was going to be there every day. And unfortunately, he passed away, and I didn't want to be there every day. And so we ended up selling that bar. And so I've been in the bar business on the side for a very long time. We owned that over 10 years. I worked at the Royals and the Diamond Club for 15 years, bartending part-time. So always been part of the bar business. And then my affiliation with the Unified Government in Strawberry Hill, always wanted to be in this area. Like I've even looked at houses to buy down here. I've really liked this area. And this opportunity kind of came available. We knew that the Mockingbird had shut down. So
which is beautiful view down there.
Oh, I think it's probably the best.
Blue Palm Tiki is going in there, so opening soon. I think they're going to open right around the same time you guys are.
I hope so. Whatever brings more people to the Hill is fantastic. But so we actually called and inquired about that, and the gentleman that is operating that had already closed on it or signed a lease or whatever they're doing, and so they actually had this building as well right next to you, right on the corner. And so we looked at that and we were like, wow, this could be something. So came in here, talked to you guys, figured out we could, collaborate and Easy In. I know Blake and
Easy's a great
Stoner.
spot.
So
There's a lot of great bars down here.
oh,
Or
absolutely.
great businesses down here too.
No, and Central 6th Street, the whole area is just growing and getting better and better with age. So we jumped at the opportunity, and we didn't realize how much work it was going to be. But we're we're head over heels to be open and be ready. Hopefully, mid-March.
Mid-March. Okay, that's going to be my next question of when you think you're going to be open. So mid-March.
The goal would be operational by March 1st. Have a few soft openings, and then hopefully by the Big 12 tournament, St. Patrick's Day, we're full bore, ready to go, and then roll right into March Madness, roll right into opening day for the Royals, and kind of kick it off that way. But that's up to the unified government, and
get on it, UG.
Amen. But hopefully, and that's the track that we're on from what I see.
So you mentioned like a whole bunch of sports like that are going to be happening. The Royals, home opener, March Madness, stuff like that. So is your bar, the Davenport, is going to be more geared towards like a sports bar, sports pub? Like what are we thinking over there?
Yeah, we call ourselves a social sports pub. So we definitely want to, collaborate with the happy hour crowd. But yes, we're centered around sports. We're going to have some upper scale drinks, some old fashions, some Manhattans.
Yeah.
We are next to a cigar shop, so people that smoke cigars like their whiskey, like their bourbon. So we'll definitely have that stuff on the menu. We're also going to have some wine. Working with a wine expert to get some good wine on the hill. People can come down and either buy it by the glass or the bottle. But sports is we have 8 TVs, I think, in the main room, and then we're going to have 2 or 3 in the back lounge. So all sports, no seasons off. Hockey, doesn't matter if it's MUK, UK State. I know we had a big KUK State game last night.
Yeah, I'm a K-State alum, so
okay.
It was a great game to see.
So you're EMAW right now.
I'm EMAW. I mean, I don't get too excited because KU just dominates every year. Like, yeah, we might win a game here or there, but it's like all it really matters is during the tournament. It really just it doesn't really matter who wins. In my opinion, it doesn't matter who wins the Big 12 and all that stuff. That's just okay. Yeah, you get a little banner, but it just matters what you do in the tournament.
Come on, let's be honest. You weren't stoked for last night?
I was stoked, but it happens like every other year.
Oh, okay.
Like they normally beat KU at least once every 2 or 3 years. So it's like nothing out of the norm. It's not like when we were before, like when I was going through, it was like college, it was like they didn't beat KU for like 15, 20 years. So now it's like, because I went through K-State when Bob Huggins was there. Solo year. Yeah. But it was like, that's when the tides start turning. Like, okay, K-State's getting a little bit better, players. So they were being more competitive with KU. So now it's like I said, it's like every other year, normally K-State gets a win, from KU. But
so it's almost expected now.
It's expected. Well, normally they win when KU goes down there because now it's Octagon and Doom, right? It's a hard place to play. I'm not saying anything towards Allen Fieldhouse. Like I give my respect to KU where it's due.
Sure.
I grew up a KU fan.
Oh, okay.
Like my dad was a KU fan, so I was a KU fan. And like I don't hate KU. I just have to rep school I went to.
Amen. So where was your haunt in Aggieville? What was your favorite hangout?
Ooh, I was all over in Aggieville. So I used to work at Tubby's. I don't know if you knew who that was. That was where like the exotic pet place was.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else, but okay.
The exotic pet place. No,
okay.
But I used to work at Tubby's, and my place was there, and Rusty's, and Fats, Aunt May's, Kites. I used to live above Kites.
Okay.
That was the year where I was like, didn't get any school work done. Once you live above a bar, it's pretty hard to get anything done. No, but yeah, I mean, I was all around Aggieville because I lived on 4th and Morrow, and Aggieville was like 13th and Morrow, so I could walk to Aggieville. Yeah.
So when I did finance, Manhattan was also one of my clients, so I was down there.
Oh yeah,
quite a bit.
So how did you get into finance?
So I was in the Air Force a long time as well. But while I was in the Air Force, I knew I probably wasn't going to be a lifer, even though I ended up being a lifer on the guard side.
So what? Wait, I'm going to ask another question. What made you get into the Air Force?
Just to get away,
And how long did you do?
I did 8 years active and 12 years in the Guard. So
Wow.
Yeah. So I said I wasn't going to be a lifer.
20 total?
Yes.
And you sound like you're a lifer.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
But when I first joined the Air Force, and then I was stationed at Nellis out in Las Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And I was, at that time you're young and you're in Vegas and it is what it is. But I was like, there's no way I want to do this the rest of my life. So I ended up going to school out at UNLV while I was stationed at Vegas. And then, it's a big hospitality school, so that's where I kind of learned some hospitality skills. But
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, so Guy Fieri and a lot of those chefs and stuff went to UNLV. Running Rebels, baby.
Oh, boy.
But and they haven't been good since Tarkanian.
Yeah.
But they're pretty decent this year. So anyway, went in and majored in finance and, came back when I got out of the Air Force. Was at Guard and Whiteman. Met a lady who was my first wife. We had 3 children, and she was kind of in the finance game. She worked for Scudder Investments at 8th and Main downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of bartending, bar managing, kind of figuring what next steps were. And she kind of got me on there. And from there, I went to American Century, JP Morgan to
Oh, wow.
ICM Arc, and that, just kind of snowballed. Once I got in the game, I stayed there. So
finances pretty well, so which is good.
But one would hope.
One would hope.
I mean, I got you started in the
Yeah,
457
a lot of people don't know, but like you helped me start all my investments, which was years ago. So I'm glad, which I can't touch right now still. So I tried to dip into it, and they were just like, absolutely not.
Now, are you still employed over there? Or no? Okay.
No. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually retired. But yeah. But they were like, you can dip into your money, but you're going to take a penalty.
Right. Yeah, 10% penalty plus taxes on any money that you take.
So I just got to wait till I'm, 55 or something?
55 if you take systematic withdrawals, or 59.5 if you just want to take.
I'm glad that you still know your shit.
Yeah. Well, probably not as much. I mean, I'm sure it's changed quite a bit since. So ICM Arc in 2018 kind of started. That's when all the, video calls and the Zoom meetings and all that kind of was getting started. And they're based in Washington, D.C., so they were kind of thinking they could do the Midwest, which didn't have as much money as the coasts, virtually. So I could have moved and done other things, but like I said, at the time my kids were pretty small and I had family here. I wasn't trying to move, so that's what kind of got me out of the finance.
So are you originally from Kansas City? Yeah,
so I grew up in Lee Summit, so just east of Kansas City. Graduated high school, and then that's what once I graduated, I went to community college for like a day, and until I went, and then they kind of barely took attendance, so it was kind of like high school, but they didn't care if you were there.
Yeah.
So I think somebody got in my head. I don't remember who it was, but they were like, "Well, if you drop all your classes by a certain date, they'll give you that money back." So I was like, what? So, and it wasn't a ton of money, right?
Making business decisions early on, maybe not the best business decision.
Right. So I dropped my classes and got the $500 back, and probably had a good time for a couple of weeks, and then
you're like, I need a job.
Then my dad was like, "Oh, yeah, you gotta go do something." So we actually played in a golf tournament together for his work, and then he drove me to the recruitment office.
Oh yeah.
And you know how recruiters are, it's going to be great, and you get to play basketball on the weekends, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And but I was like, I can do that. So that's what got me in there, and it was really, really good for me. It's what I needed at the time, for sure.
So you mentioned the Royals, and you worked in the Diamond Club.
Yes.
So how long were you working for the Royals for?
15 seasons.
15 seasons. I didn't even know it was that long.
15 seasons. So when I started, obviously the Diamond Club was not there. It was the Stadium Club, which used to be the longest singular bar in the state of Missouri. So that's where like the kind of upper scale hoity-toities, they would come for a buffet dinner before the game, and it's where Craft and Draft is now.
Okay.
But Craft and Draft, the window's open. It's a lot,
more inviting.
Yes.
That's
a great word for it. And back then I was bartending in a tie. We were making brandy Alexanders and aperitifs and all kinds of crazy
I have
things.
no clue what any of those drinks are, but they sound good.
I was just a huge Royals fan. I still am. Real big baseball and Royals fan. I grew up playing it, and we had our second child, and I had season tickets, but that's back when they weren't very good. It was hard to even give away the tickets. So my wife was like, you're not going to be a season ticket holder anymore. So I was at work. I was working for JP Morgan.
Wait, so you were a season ticket holder and working there?
No. This is
before.
Yeah, this is probably the year before I started. So Maya, who is now 18, was born in December of 2005. And so like February of 2006, I'm sitting at work at JP Morgan, and I'm like, how can I get out to the Royals without buying season tickets? And there was like a little link at the bottom of their web, job opportunities. And I was like, oh, okay. And there was I don't know what the job title was, but bartender. I was like, oh, well, I have some experience doing that. So went ahead and applied, and then, spun it to my wife, now ex-wife. Maybe that's why. But, so, hey, I'm getting a second job. We have 2 kids, to help financially. We didn't really need it, but anyway, I got out there. I loved it. Got to see every game. The people were great. And then, from there, when they did the remodel for the All-Star game, that's what took me down to the Boulevard Bar, which is right on the side of the Diamond Club. And then something happened with the bartender that was in the Diamond Club full time, and then they kind of threw me in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was there from that point.
So when did you start at the Royals, and when did you finish? I'm trying to figure out like what part of the Royals got
first season was 2006. And I still have a badge to
2006.
Yeah. So last year was probably my last year, especially now with owning a business and gonna do all that. But so I still have an ID from last year, although I didn't work any games.
But
so
I gotcha.
I was gonna work opening day, and I got called to a meeting, and then I never.
So did you work the season before?
A few, like a handful of games, maybe 5.
I guess were you there when they won the World Series and the whole World Series run before?
Oh yeah. So that was probably. That was the best years of my life.
Yeah.
I don't really remember many of those years, but because it was a continuous. I'd work almost every game, and then I'd have to get up. I was still doing finance because I didn't stop that until 2019. So I was just all over, just a disaster. We actually flew out to San Francisco in 2014. So I was watching Game 3, and that was a Friday night. I was down at the 403 Club watching us win. We won Friday night, and then my buddy Steve called me right after the win, and he's like, man, we got to get out there. They're going to win the World Series. We took a red eye.
This is against the Giants.
Yeah, super early morning. Got out to San Francisco, bought some crazy tickets. We just had the best time, but we ended up losing both of those games.
Yeah, we sure did.
And then on the way home, we were flying through Phoenix. Josh Vernier from 610. So he was on our flight. We had about an hour-ish layover in Phoenix, and we were all just having some beers and talking baseball and doing all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we ended up missing our flight because when we got to the gate, they had already shut the door. The plane was still there, but they were like, no, you can't get on. And then they weren't going to send us out until the following day at the same flight. And Josh was like, no, I have a 10 a.m. We were playing that day we were getting home. Anyway, we had to fly from Phoenix to Philly overnight.
Jesus.
We landed at Philly at like 6 a.m. Had like a 30-minute layover. No one did anything but sat at the gate. And then came back home. Well, I think we landed around 8:30, and then Josh did his report from the car, and then I went home and got maybe 2 hours sleep, and then I had to be right back at and that was the game. The Royals smoked them. It was like 13-1 or 2. It was the longest game in history. I was super hungover, super tired, and everyone wanted to celebrate. And I was like, no, I just want you to go home.
Tonight.
I just want you to go home right now. But anyway, it worked out. We made it back. Unfortunately, we lost Game 7, though.
But at least you were there the next year when they won.
Oh,
I guess not. You weren't in New York when they won, but
I wish I would have been.
I know.
So we talked about going to there, and I was like, nah, we jinxed them last time.
So tell me about, I guess, that time in the playoffs where the Royals start hitting their streak, and you've been working there worked there since 2006, so they've been bad, and they finally got good. Like, tell me about like your favorite moments, I guess, during that run.
Oh,
if any. I mean, other than you missing your flight and going to San Fran.
Well, that was not a favorite moment. Trust me. There was a gentleman puking in the back of the plane as well.
Oh my gosh!
And it just smelled all get out. It's that's a long flight. But no, there were so many great moments. Really, the moments I love best about the Royals are the people. Mm-hmm. I was lucky enough in the Diamond Club to meet a lot of the players' families, get to know them really, really well. Some of the owners of the ownership group were in the Diamond Club, so I've got to know them. Really the people, and that's what I've always loved about bartending. That's why, I got asked a lot, like, why do you do this? Like, why are you here? Why do you want to work part-time and bartend? And it's just never felt like work. I mean, especially there, because I'm a huge Royals fan. I get to see every game. I'm cheering on with the fans. If something big happens, everyone kind of stops and turns and looks. And but before they redesigned the stadium the second time, the Diamond Club bar overlooked the entire stadium. So I could see pretty much everything except for some of the corners. And so it was the best seat in the house. I was getting paid. We were making, people are super excited, super happy. They're in the Diamond Club. It looked like a strip club in the Diamond Club. There's money just everywhere. We didn't have time to put it in a tip jar or anything. We're just rocking and rolling and making money and making people smile. And, it's funny seeing the stadium, like when the Yankees came to town or a bigger team, Boston, something like that. Like the whole stadium turns Yankees or Boston. But during those runs, man, it was Royals.
Yeah.
You didn't see the Cardinals fans, the Yankees fans, the Boston fans. You just saw Royals fans. So I thought that was the coolest part about, seeing that transition. And, of course, now you kind of see it back to you see the Cardinals fans, the Yankees fans. So get the hell out of here. Let's get back to Royals fans.
So who's your favorite Royal? I'm sure that you've
all time
met,
or right now?
I'm sure you've met quite a few.
Yeah. Who's the nicest Royal or my favorite Royal?
Whatever. We'll ask both.
Oh, no. My favorite Royal of all time is George Brett, hands down.
George Brett, okay.
The man can smash Coors Lights. George, if you're out there, I know. But
we got to get George down to the Davenport.
Well, I don't know him that well.
Well, we can try.
But no, he's. I know he has people have opinions about him, but I've always thought he was great. And watching him play when I was growing up, my dad took me to the '85 World Series. You probably weren't even born yet.
I was born in '86.
Okay,
I missed it by a year.
So I was 11. Then there was this orange seats in the stadium, and I remember. I don't know if you could still smoke in the stadium, but people did it, and just watching him, and that was great. So all time, he's my favorite. Wade Davis's wife, Katie Davis, is probably one of my favorite wives. She was hilarious and fantastic, and they have a fantastic, great family. They have 3 kids now, maybe 4, because I think they just had another one. So, but all the families were great. Salvi's family is fantastic. Salvi was gracious enough to take my son, who was probably 10 at the time, down to the clubhouse with his cousin. And,
that's awesome.
Take pictures. And
so you're getting to interact with the players, too, while you were working there?
Not really with the players, more with the families.
The family? Okay.
Yeah. Now, the players would come up sometimes, after everyone had kind of disappeared, and if they had a bunch of family in. But James Shields and his family, one of the best, big game James. When they clinched the playoffs the first year, 14 in Chicago, we flew up there to watch that game, and we had seats that were kind of where the Crown Club would be for the Royals. So the club was like underneath the stadium, and then you walk past the visitors' clubhouse to get to your seats. So after they won that game and they clinched, of course, I saw Katie Davis, Ryan Shields, Stephanie Moustakis. All the wives were out there, kind of waiting on the players because locker room's a locker room. Even the wives aren't allowed. So they saw me and were kind of waving, and then the players started coming out. And of course, this security guard is trying to usher me, and I was with B. Walt, my buddy, and trying to usher us out, like away from him.
Yeah, they're like, who are you?
Yeah, I was a nobody. And but then I see this big ass hand just come through and like grab, like want my hand, and it was Big Game James. So after that little security guard was like, okay, you're good. So got some pictures of them celebrating, and they had the goggles on and all that stuff. So I have a lot of great memories from the Royals and their families, awesome. For sure.
So I take it now that you open this that you probably won't be up there working very much
at all.
Yeah,
no, I think they wanted to retire me as much as every great empire has to die, right? So I think they wanted to move on as well, which is fun.
Yeah, it's all good.
16 years.
That's a long time.
They're like, get your old ass out of here. Go do something else.
So going back to the Davenport.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit more about it. You said you'll have wine, you'll have it's like a sports bar, because I know a lot of people from Strawberry Hill are going to be listening to it.
Sure.
So they're going to have a lot of questions that you probably have already been asked too. Like, what about food? Food-wise, you having anything?
Food's big here in the Hill.
Yeah, I know.
I've gotten a lot of questions on Facebook, social media about that. We're going to have some snackable food. It's not going to be a full menu. We don't have a full kitchen, nor do we have a room for a full kitchen. So we'll have some pizzas, pretzels, maybe some sausages.
You pointed down at Cressman's.
Yes.
All right.
So we might. I wasn't in that conversation. My partner Justin met with him, and he was interested in maybe us selling his sausages. So we're looking into doing that. We're looking to partner with food trucks. We're looking to have pop-ups occasionally. But yeah, if you want a snackable food, we got you.
Gotcha.
But if you want a full menu, we don't got you. So not at least right now. Who knows where it'll grow, but right now it's just snacks.
I even heard that there's a drink called the Chop Shop.
Chop Shop.
Yeah, tell me about that.
That's for you, big dog.
I know.
So obviously your members can bring in their own stuff, correct? But sometimes they might get sick of drinking it out of a Glencairn or straight whiskey or bourbon. Or they bring in a friend or a date that doesn't have anything. So the Chop Shop is going to be your version of an old fashioned. It's going to have chopped ice, and it'll be available to bring back to your location so they can finish their cigar. Or we'd always welcome them over here after they're done with their cigar to watch a game and do whatever. But yeah, we're going to pay homage to you, and from my understanding, this used to be a chop shop before it was a gym, correct?
Yeah. Okay. So now I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out.
Okay. Well, there should be a drum kit there.
Yep.
No. But so yeah, that's why we call it Chop Shop, and then you use the chopped ice, and we're gonna have different variations of old fashions, even one with some grapefruit in it, with grapefruit bitters and a splash of grapefruit juice. Wines, for people on dates. Big selection. We're putting in an 8-tap tower for beer. So we'll have eight beer taps. We'll have 2 or 3 cocktail taps that we'll pour over ice. Bottle canned beer, a lot of mixed drinks. Try to build up a nice bourbon and whiskey selection. over time again. We probably won't start with like anything too ridiculous, but we plan on growing that more and more, depending on the need and what people want. So for sure.
So, like I said, there's a lot of great bars around here, around Strawberry Hill. So what's the biggest difference between your bar and everybody else? Because everybody else has their own kind of feel. Like, what kind of feel or do you plan on bringing to the Hill?
No, for sure. A lot of these bars are places I hang out, so I absolutely think they're great. I think our difference is we're targeting more the happy hour crowd and the early date night crowd. So we're only going to be open during the week till 10. On the weekends, we're only open till midnight. I know a lot of things just get started around here about that time, but so we're trying to pull that happy hour crowd during the week. We'll open at 2. Happy hour will probably start at 3, and then
2 to 10 during the week,
right?
And then weekends, same time, 2 to 11,
2 to midnight.
2 to midnight. Sorry,
no, that's fine.
Then what about Sunday?
Sundays to start 11 to 6. Trying to hit that brunch crowd, trying to hit that day drinker crowd. Shout out to you day drinkers. I'm one of them. I like to go to bed early. Like I said, I have kids and a wife.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably the biggest difference is us trying to formulate more of a happy hour, and then sports, obviously. I know there's a lot of TVs and a lot of these bars, and they watch sports, but that's our dedication. Like, we'll have hockey, NFL, NBA. We can get channels in the Caribbean if you want to watch cricket. So,
all right.
So it'll be a little bit different vibe.
Underwater water polo.
Underwater water polo?
Yeah.
We'll see if I
don't
can
know
get
if
that
that's might be a sport I just made up.
I'll have to search that up. I don't, as the kids would say, search it up.
Search it up.
But but my goal is to not take away from any of the bars that are already in existence. They already have their own clientele. They have the regulars. My goal is to bring more people to the Hill that can experience everything. So maybe there's a big game on. They come to the Davenport, check it out, check us out. Then come over here, check you out, have a cigar, finish the night shooting pinball down at the 403 or getting, 5 for 5 at the ICM or popping right down to Hillsiders. So, or Fat Matt's. So,
you got so many options around here.
Yeah.
Or Chicago's.
And
or
it's
Sammy's.
all walkable for the most part.
Yeah.
So, that my goal is to, unfortunately, a lot of people have a fear almost of Kansas City, Kansas and Strawberry Hill. And, my friends and family, even closest to me, have said, Mike, that's kind of a rough area, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's really not. Like,
not at all.
That is just a perception. So I want people to come, enjoy it, see what there's to offer. Look at this place here. It's beautiful. Who wouldn't want to hang here? And we're trying to build that out too. And the Easy Inn is super nice and the super friendly people. And Artie down at the 403 is a great dude. So Joni and her husband next door, excellent people. I've met them several times.
There's a lot of mics on this.
Okay, is Mike
block.
too?
Yeah, there's 3 mics.
Just yell Mike. One of us is is coming if you're on this block anyway. So, but yeah, that's our goal. Hit the happy hours hard. Big sports games. Now those hours could change. Like if there's a sporting event, Royals are in the playoffs, Chiefs are in the playoffs. We could stay open a little later, open a little early, but we'd be sure to post that, and we'll be consistent at least with the hours I just said.
Yeah.
If it's longer, then it's longer.
So this is this truly like your first bar you've opened up?
Well, the one with my dad, but he did most of the heavy lifting on that one just because he was down there. But
so now this is all on you.
Yeah, and it's a lot harder than I thought.
So elaborate a little bit, like what's been kind of like the struggles of like opening up your own bar, I guess even your own business, and I guess what are you most looking forward to? So a little two-parter.
Less sweat is what I'm looking forward to. No, I think when Justin and I came into this, and our wives too, because of course we had them on board. We had a vision. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew how we wanted it to look. But once you get the keys, you're so excited, so elated. You're like, okay, let's let's start looking at the finishing touches and the furniture and the TVs but then you realize, oh wait, we got to build this and do this, and this needs to be a closet. This needs to be we got to change that door. We got to, so then all the work and the daily, changes and modifications and build outs. And so that has been, a struggle sometimes between us, because, we'll get to the point where, we're just sitting there kind of reflecting, and we're like, okay, we need this here, but then, all right, let's wait on that, because we have 5 other steps we need to do before we get there. And then also everything with the city and the state. Mm-hmm. I did not realize that was going to be as long as a process as it has been. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're talking easy 90 to 120 days. And the different things you have to do in a neighborhood meeting, and the going in front of planning and zoning, and then going in front of the mayor and the commission. So it's a lot more than just, hey, we got some money, we found a location, let's go.
Let's open. Yeah.
I wish it was that easy, and maybe one day it will be, but right now you better be prepared to not be open for about 4 months. So, and then whatever you want to build out on top of that. Mm-hmm. So what I'm looking forward to is doing what I love to do again, which is, make people smile, entertain people, have a fun location for them to go, fun and safe, and just some place that they want to come back to. They know that they're going to get good quality drinks, have great customer service, and experience a good neighborhood. So that's mostly what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Being on the other side of the bar instead of being on my hands and knees building something, for sure.
So hopefully mid-March is what we're looking at, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. And I guess my last question about the bar, like what do you want to tell the people of Strawberry Hill about, like I know you've been asked probably 1,000 questions about this place.
No, not one.
Not one?
No, I'm just kidding. Yes. We get questions all the time. What would I like to tell Strawberry Hill about the bar?
Well, just about anything, because I know you get a lot of questions and like kind of what to expect, and I know you kind of elaborate a little bit already, but
no, it's just come treat yourself. Like come check us out. Give us a try. We know you may have your favorite location in Strawberry Hill or the city, but I think that you'll find a comfortable atmosphere. We're going to have different seating arrangements. We'll have the bar tables that you're used to, the bar, of course. But then we are going to have some loungy type sections, like very similar to what's in the shop here, where you can get a little bit more comfortable. Maybe you're on a date. And we're also going to have a back lounge where if you ever want to rent it out or have some privacy or hold a small business meeting, or maybe you just want to show out for your date and rent a room at a bar and still have great service, then we have those options available for you too, which you could have your own private entrance and exit and some security if you need it. So just a lot of variations, and man, we're just looking forward to welcoming everyone who wants to come in and enjoy a good time at the Davenport.
Awesome. All right. Now I got one last question. And it's not having to deal with...
Is this like a final?
This is the final,
okay.
But this doesn't deal with the bar or any alcohol. This is finance, right?
Finance, okay.
Yep. So I guess you've been in that game for a long time.
I was,
and
yes.
you were telling people a lot to what to do with their money.
Yes.
What is like 2 or 3 things that people should be doing with their money if they're starting like early or just starting now? Because a lot of people don't really know. They just think, all right, I have my paycheck, I'm going to put it in the bank account, and I'll have a savings account, and that's it.
Yeah, unfortunately, savings accounts don't pay very much, but a lot of people feel more secure. So if you have a retirement plan, the first thing I would say is take advantage of that match. So if the city or the organization matches a certain percent or a dollar amount to your 401k or 457, make sure you're taking advantage of that, because that's just free money. You're essentially doubling what you're putting in there. So if they're going to match 5%, you put 5% in, you really have 10%, and that's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. It's so easy to get started. A lot of people I found when I was doing it just had so many questions that they'd be like, and they'd be like, I don't want to talk to this guy. He knows more than me, or he thinks he's smarter than me, or whatever. But that's never the case. We just want to help you out and get you started. And so if you need help, go talk to a financial advisor, a CFP, or I'm sure your organization may have a representative that you can contact or reach out to. But the first thing is just getting started. Take advantage of the match. A lot of times maybe you can't do that full 5% to start, but a lot of the plans will allow you to start at, say, 1%. And at least you're getting a 1% match. And then every year they'll actually allow you to increase it automatically. So it's an auto increase. So say the next year you go up to 2% and then 3%. So just work your way towards that match. And then the biggest other thing I think is don't worry.
Don't worry.
Well, yeah, I know that's hard, right? But in a retirement plan, at least that's long-term money. So you're putting that in there for 20, 30 years from now. But there's so many news networks out there, and CNBC and even your local networks will tell you about the market went down X number of points or a certain percentage, and that really just scares people. And then they're like, well, all right, I got to take this money out now. But or they want to move it into the most safe investment or most secure investment, but they're doing it at the worst time because the market just took a big old dip. So you're selling at a low, and then when it goes back up, people want to get back in. So retirement plans are really something you just set and forget, kind of like that old, you're probably too young for that commercial too.
Oh, boy.
It was like a oven or something. Set it and forget it.
Not the Easy Bake?
It could have been the Easy Bake. I don't know what it was. But, yeah, for that, just you can't panic. You just know that it's in there for 20, 25 years. Don't mess with it. Don't move your investments. If you want to move your investments, get into like a managed account or something, or again, talk to a CFP, financial advisor, or a representative who can really explain what you're doing and how it's going to affect the long term. But really, get started. Try not to panic, man. Just hold on. We used to call it the roller coaster.
Yes.
It's going to go up, it's going to go down, but you got to enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy your life.
I feel like we need to do just a podcast on just money.
Money? You got some?
How do I handle my money?
Don't open a damn business, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know.
No, because your money will go. No, but yeah, we could absolutely do that because there are, unfortunately, a lot of people that really have no idea. It maybe they don't want to know, but I think most of the time they just don't have anyone there that can explain different things to them and how to get maybe where they want to go or need to go.
I know when I talked to you, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Just tell me what I need to do.
And you can't. I didn't do that. You can't do that. I didn't do that.
No, I'm just kidding.
We were fiduciary.
Yes.
I did get that question all the time. Pretend I'm your mom, pretend I'm your dad.
Yeah.
Where would you put my money?
Yeah.
And that's where you got to kind of explain what the different investments are. And, man, there's so many resources out there and we'll be there to guide you, or a financial representative can guide you and assist you. But, ultimately the choice is up to you and what you're trying to do with the money and, what you're saving it for. And
saving for opening a bar.
I ended up doing that, but the, different variations in life and goals is really where you can't just put somebody in the same thing. And unfortunately, a lot of organizations or companies, I think, do that instead of really digging into who you are. Like, Mike, who are you? What do you want to do? Where do you want this money to take you? And then once you kind of have that idea, then yeah, you can kind of see where you want to go. But start saving. Enjoy the ride, because it's gonna be one. And then talk to a professional if you have questions, and instead of just guessing and listening to CNBC, because those shows are really dedicated and meant for day traders.
Yeah.
And if you're in a retirement plan or a 401k or 457, you are not a day trader. Gotcha. I mean, you may be on the side, but that account is not for that. So
cool. Well, Mike, it's been a pleasure.
Man, the pleasure's been all mine.
For the bar to open next door.
Me,
I've been telling everybody, so We're going to have a good time. Good time being a good neighbor.
No, we're looking forward to it. We think we're in a great location, a great spot. Like I said, the hill is fantastic. And
tell everybody like your social stuff and your platforms and everything to follow you on.
The DavenportKCK.com. If check out our website, the Davenport KCK on Instagram, and the Davenport on Facebook. You can hit me up anytime you want on email, thedavenportmike@gmail.com. And otherwise, 401 North 6th Street, hopefully early March. Come check us out, and we would love to pour you a drink and welcome you in.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, it's great seeing you. Great having you, man.
Great seeing you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for staying tuned this episode, and we'll have another one next week. We have a really good one next week, too. So check us out, and I'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye, everybody.